So welcome, yogis. Take a few moments just to settle. And today we'll use a couple of blocks. So just sitting or lying, wherever you'd like to begin. And just take a few deep breaths. Nice deep inhale and a nice slow exhale. Just to center yourself and come into this space. Have a moment just to notice how you're feeling today. Without judging your emotions, just observe them. Allow them to be. Be the witness, the observer. And let's just take a moment to also root our energies down into the earth. Either through your tailbone, through the feet, back of the body. And thinking about what you'd like from your practice today. Notice if something immediately springs to mind, or whether you have to think about a small intention. Notice if you're still tense, whether you're sitting or lying down, whether there's tension in the shoulders and neck, through your face, back of the body, spine. Just seeing if you can release a little more. So just take a few more breaths. And those of you lying down, let's just take this opportunity to hug the knees in. And have a moment to rock on your spine. If you're already seated, maybe just move in whatever way feels right. We're going to come into Zazen, seated meditation, begin the practice with quietening our mind, becoming centered. So as you roll up to seated, come into a comfortable position, either with your legs crossed or legs extended outwards, however you can sit for 5 minutes. So today we're just going to sit with stillness. You can follow the breath as a way to kind of become present and anchor you every now and then, but without any other agenda. We're not going to count, we're not going to mantra or anything like that. We're just going to sit and just be with ourselves, however busy our mind will be or not, and just allow ourselves to just sink into a stillness and being the observer of this practice. So just rest your hands, Dhyana Mudra, one hand over the other, thumbs touching. Close the eyes softly, loosen the shoulders, your face, become comfortable through your body. And we're just going to sit with ourselves in whatever way this materializes and whatever comes up. And just stay with a gentle awareness of your breath to anchor you here. Keep relaxing. Check in with your body and just soften. Being the observer of this inner world. Witnessing the mind. And just gently take a breath before we open our eyes. And gently coming back into the room. Notice that practice, whether the 5 minutes went really quickly or whether they really dragged, how busy the mind was, whether the mind did take over and thoughts took over, or whether you could be that kind of witness, that observer of the present moment and of the mind. One thing I love that Wayne Dyer says is, if prayers are us talking to God or divine, then a moment of stillness and silence is God or Source talking to us. It's that other way of communicating with the Source that is. So it's a lovely way of thinking that just that, a moment of silence. And he says it's the greatest honour that you can give anyone. is that moment of silence for yourself as well. Even if it's a few minutes a day, it's so powerful. So coming off your cushions, let's start with our first pose. We're going to come into oyster. So this two-sided pose where we bring our legs crossed, but not tucked under, more the lower legs nice and sort of parallel and in alignment with the edge of your mat. By taking the legs out further from the body and not tucked under, we're going to feel it through our hips. And this lovely gallbladder channel will be stimulated here. So just become comfortable. I've taken my right leg to the front and the left leg behind, but we'll swap. And as you gradually settle into this, just allow the head and the body to relax and fold if it feels comfortable. So be the witness, the observer of what you're feeling physically initially. Maybe releasing any tension in your calf muscles. Thighs. Noticing even if your belly and the abdominal wall feels a bit tight, so just relaxing and deep breaths. And just being aware of what you're feeling in this pose. What degree do you feel it? Soft belly breaths. And being the observer. How does it feel around the hips and buttocks? Noticing any tension that returns to the legs. Observing your breath. Just allowing this time in this pose for you to almost take up residence in all the areas of our body. Mindful of all sensations. Feeling relaxed, looking a little deeper within. And we'll take a deep breath, just one last one as we gently come out. Feeling the release from around the hips. We'll take neutral in between, just so that we can let that sensation fade and be aware of the fresh sensation the other side. So just lying down. Just having a lovely appreciation for your body today. As you breathe here, relax. Checking in with any chi movements through your body, through your feet, inner legs or outer legs. Where can you feel any coldness or tingling? Possibly even warmth. And then you'll probably feel that sensation fade away now. So let's hug our knees in. Have a moment here, just rock, noticing whatever you're feeling on all levels. And then just roll yourself up again to seated. We're going to come into the other side. Left leg to the front. Right leg behind, again, not tucked under, just extended out so it's sort of almost nice parallel lines here. And again, softening into this. Being curious as to whether it feels different in one hip and one side to the other. Whether the intensity is very different between each side as well. Relax the knees, the lower legs. Soften the belly as you breathe. And if anything starts to become painful, please just release out of it, come into a lying position. Always observe Satya and Ahimsa, truth and non-harm. So sitting with this pose and observing your thoughts, standing back from the mind taking over, being aware. And in this time of stillness and silence, noticing not just your physical reactions, but emotional. Aware of the body holistically. Do you notice a certain feeling when we always work with our hip area? Does an emotion come up? Is it very mild and almost under the surface? Is there something that we feel repeatedly when we work with hips? Can we really tune in to what the body is telling us? Can we listen? Maybe an idea, an answer, or some sort of inspiration comes through when we just get quiet. So with one more breath, gently take your time to lift up, slowly come out, still noticing whatever sensations you're getting through the body, the areas where you expect it from that pose, but also other areas. Lying down, being gentle. And just breathing softly into the belly. Checking in with anything that you're feeling. Notice how you're feeling right now. And gently, when you're ready, take your time, bending knees, draw them into the chest. Lift the head if that feels nice, little rock. We're going to come into dragon, so quite a strong pose for the morning. We won't hold it the full length, just exploring. So you might like to use a cushion for your knee, for the back knee, and if you've got some blocks, then this can sometimes be quite helpful. So with dragon, I'm going to use a cushion for my left knee as we bring the right leg forwards to the outside of your right hand. So like a low lunge, leaning into the hands. If you've got the use of two blocks, then you might like to sort of bring the floor a little bit away from you and come into a more upright position to start with. This is intense. And it's a pose that challenges our patience initially as we try and soften and surrender into it. If it's painful, come out and just choose another pose or relaxing. Try and notice your breath and soften into the belly. Notice if it feels stressful initially. Where can we surrender in this pose and also learn that in life, the art of surrendering. Sometimes it might be choosing not to be right in a conversation and to be kind instead. Letting go. So looking for tension. When you breathe to the belly, it encourages less of a stress in the body, more relaxation. So encourage the breath deep to the belly. Where is the intensity here? Is it the top of your left leg or the right? So we're just going to take 2 breaths. Gently coming out. So just over 2.5 minutes, approaching the 3-minute mark for that one. Notice how that felt. Just leave your props close by. Take a moment in neutral though. Move slowly, sort of feeling the intensity still within. The top of the legs, those the hip flexors. A really challenging pose sometimes. Relax. Other times you might find that pose is not challenging at all and it's actually quite comfortable. It's so different days when we are different people. Fresh new day. So just take this time now, relax, soften through the back. Tuning in. And observe the mind, follow the breath. And just letting those last feelings fade, and we'll bring the knees in. Again, take a moment, there's no rush to move into this next side. Feeling what you feel as you rock. And we'll gently come up. Take your time to prepare your space. Using a cushion for your right knee now. Making this pose as accessible as possible. So left leg comes forward. Using blocks if you wish for the hands. And we'll just take about 2.5 minutes here. Okay, so be curious. Maybe this side feels completely different. It's not as challenging, it's easier in some way. Noticing if it's quicker for you to surrender into it. Dropping the head if that feels nice. Finding the tension. The top hip creases, top of the legs, buttocks. Perhaps it's tense in the left hamstring. And you don't have to go into this pose too much. Use the blocks and use the arms to support the falling of the body into this pose. Deep breaths. Observing your inner dialogue of tolerance and patience here. When we're feeling this intensity in the moment, I think we can become the most conscious. Keep trying to relax a little bit. Notice whether your body is settling here or whether it's looking forward to the release. So when you're ready, let's take a breath. Gently and slowly come out. Listen as your body loosens out of this pose to your knees, the gentle movement of your legs. And then making your way into a relaxed position. Looking forward to feeling what you feel. Nice sigh, just relax, release through the body. Observing whether one side felt very different from the other. Nice feeling in the after effect of having really sort of stretched the body. Perhaps you can feel it in your wrists as well. Maybe the palms are warm. And if that was a challenging pose for you, notice how many times your mind wandered off to other things, or whether it was very, very present in the moment with what you were feeling. Sometimes the more challenging poses can tell us a lot about ourselves in that moment. The argument maybe we're having in our head, the discomfort with our thoughts. So when you're ready, slowly again, draw the knees in. Notice the spine. Notice how it feels on the top of the legs, hip creases. And just gently massaging the back. So coming up to seated, we're going to come into heart bench now. So this is where you're going to need your blocks again. So bringing one long ways, one upright at the back for just resting the head. And take your time as we come down onto this block. It always takes me a few goes just to find the right position. You want it sort of behind the heart center. As I say, each day, every time we come into a pose that we know, it will always feel different because we're a different person. We're different. We're feeling different things. Our thoughts are different. So just being open to what comes today. Again, this always feels a little bit awkward to start with, but in time we settle into this position. Try and relax the lower back and buttocks and legs, arms. And the placement of the block just on the back of the head will allow the chin to tilt inwards and lengthen through your spine, through the neck. And as you close your eyes here, perhaps you can just tune into whatever comes to you. Be the witness of your thoughts. Nice gentle breaths. You can feel the belly and the chest move in a nice slow way. And just thinking about your heart and love, loving yourself, just appreciating your body, this time that you have for your practice. And sometimes when we're holding some negative feelings or unloving feelings, this is a good pose to come into. Returning to the idea of love thy neighbour as thyself, where we all come from the same source, but sometimes we all take different paths. So just noticing how this pose is feeling now. Softness and a surrender. Keep noticing if there's any tension in the lower back. Just keep letting go. Where can we be a little bit more loving towards ourselves and other people today? When there is often that initial tendency to judge another because they're a bit different from us in some strange way or behaving in a different way. Just see if we can kind of open our hearts up and just return to a loving space. So let's take a couple more breaths. And being aware of how this pose feels after being in it for 5 minutes, whether it does soften and you almost sort of feel like you're moulded to this block. In your own time, just gently lifting up, lift the head, support as you lift your body, and then coming down. Check in with your heart center. Notice the feelings that you're feeling now in the body. Do they feel compassionate and open? So enjoying some lovely breaths into the belly and chest. How do you feel? Maybe there aren't many words that come up to answer that, but just feeling good. And that's fine. Let's draw our knees in. Again, take a moment, just adjust the shape of your spine as you hug in. And then a nice relaxing one, raising the legs, so waterfall. The first couple of poses of this practice were quite intense with the oyster and dragons, so just coming into heart bench and a nice waterfall balances out the strong poses. So cushion or meditation cushion, just wedge it under your bottom, lift the legs and just relax. Close your eyes. Let your arms relax to the side of the body, palms up. And just tune in with awareness to your breath. Relaxing anything in the shoulders and upper back. Altering the shape of the neck. And noticing how you feel here. If your eyes are closed, just draw the gaze towards your third eye, Ajna. Gazing ahead of you, notice any colours, images. Perhaps it's just a big grey void that you're looking into. And if at any time you need to lower your legs, please do. So just questioning yourself, do you like this pose today or not? How is it feeling with you? Notice your breath, whether it feels very calm and peaceful, Just following the rise and fall of the belly and the chest. How do you feel? Does your practice make you feel positive, open, peaceful and loving? Just noticing how your practice affects you. So when you're ready, let's just take a breath and gently lower the feet down. Take a moment. Maybe pull out the cushion slowly. Just come into neutral for a few breaths. Let everything resettle. Just following any sensations that you're feeling now. They may well all have faded away and there's not really much you can feel. But there might be something very subtle. And then when you're ready, just choosing which relaxing position you'd like to come in, seated or lying down. Have a moment just to rock and little rock side to side. And relaxing in whatever way feels right for you today. You might find that lying down is what you need, or coming into a seated position, being more in a more meditative position. So just relaxing. Enjoying this time and this space to just be present. Relaxing to your mat. A little prayer for peace. Peace and universal love are the essence of the gospel preached by all enlightened ones. The Lord has preached that peace is the Dharma. I forgive all, and I let all creatures forgive me. I extend love to all and hatred to none. Know that violence is the root cause of all the miseries in the world. Violence, in fact, is the knot of bondage. Do not injure any living being. This is the eternal and unalterable way of spiritual life. A weapon, however powerful, can always be superseded by a superior one. But no weapon can, however, be stronger than love. So just sitting with that little prayer for peace. If we all lived by the idea of never injuring any living thing, it would be a lot more peace. So ever so gently, just drawing your awareness back into your present moment. Take a few breaths, root down and center yourself. And those of you lying down, you can just gently start to move and draw the knees in. Have a moment to stretch and rock. There's no rush. Just taking your time, feeling into your body again. If you're seated, maybe roll the shoulders. Soft movement. Coming back gently. And then when you're coming to seated, we can draw our hands to heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.